Hello, 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 and welcome to another video. Today's video is about LIES, lies. Lies that shape our society, how we have been told lies ever since we were born. We were born into the lie of the globe model Earth. We were lied to about Santa Claus. We were lied to about the Tooth Fairy, and we were lied to about the Easter Bunny, and this was all before the age of 5 years old. So today's video is just about how lies shape the fabric of our culture, of our world. And once our minds accept lies, and once we're told, for example, Santa Claus would be the one big lie, I would say, that is perpetuated and handed down generation to generation. I know I'm a parent, I understand. But if we just think about how we are contributing and we are also guilty of perpetuating a lie in order to so-called give our children a good childhood, some good memories, something fun to believe in, something magical to believe in. We are definitely co-conspirators, I would say, because we know that eventually one day we're going to have to admit Santa Claus isn't real. There are no such thing as flying reindeer, and he doesn't live in the North Pole. Okay? That's something that we knowingly go into it saying, this is a lie, but it's a little white lie. It's not going to harm anyone. It's not going to cause them to be traumatized. But when kids find out, like I think I was maybe 7 or 8, maybe 8, when my cousin, a truther, who was maybe 10 at the time, told me that Santa Claus was not real. I was crushed, devastated. I cried. I said, no, you're lying. He is real. He is real. Why? Because my whole world had been shattered and it was based on a lie. And even though I don't hold it against my mom and dad for doing that and teaching me that, because that is what parents have been taught traditionally to do without it being a problem. I mean, it's like that is a part that is supposed to be a part of a childhood. Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and those are norms. Those are social norms, even though they're built on lies and the commercialization of Christmas, which should be all about Jesus Christ, but it's been turned to Santa, also known as Satan. Okay? I'm going to show you this. Just showing you basically how the model is set up. Satan, out of Satan comes Santa. Notice how they have the same letters, just an anagram for that. And then this person, or this entity, NASA, should I say, we have the same letters with the vector being the T. Pretty interesting, huh? How they all coincide, how they all are related and connected. Because just like the commercialization of Christmas brings in billions of dollars every year, NASA brings in billions of dollars every year on fairy tale lies known as outer space, going to the moon, moon missions, astronauts, going to other planets, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, little Pluto. Remember Enter Planet Janet? Remember Schoolhouse Rock? All of those shows, all of those TV shows we grew up on, and just indoctrinating us. And then, of course, right around the holidays, Santa Claus is coming to town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, fairy tales in general. Tales in general. We know it was a little boy, the little wooden boy that Geppetto made. Pinocchio, his nose grew every time he lied. Yeah, we would have trees, just trees, if everyone's nose grew, every time they lied. And the government and these agencies that have built their whole control, control and power around the lies. So NASA and the moon landings and going to outer space, that has become our Santa Claus, adult Santa Claus, and it's just perpetuated. And unlike Santa Claus, when we got a certain age, we were told, honey, sorry to break it to you, but Santa is not real, neither is the Tooth Fairy. We are not going to be indulged that way with NASA, okay? Because as we speak, they're making another movie. TV shows are all built around the space, or space missions, outer space, the moon, planets, stars, galaxies, the ball Earth. So I just wanted to share that with you today and to give a shout out to I think his channel name Caveman444. And when I saw his video, it inspired me because it made me remember that, yes, I've always thought deeply about the fact that our whole culture, our fabric, before we can even speak, we are given images that we can't even understand and told, this is real, this is true. And then we come to find out later that it's not true. So in that same manner, just as he pointed out, in that same manner, knowing that, if we go back to our childhood and just remember those things, how a carefully devised lie perpetuated, I'm just going to say perpetuated, by people that we trust, and we're told that it's true and it's real, even though it seems outlandish, but it helps us to believe in magic. It helps us to believe in just, anything is possible, that kind of thing through magic. Excuse me. In that same manner, they know, or we found out later, that it was all based on one big lie. So if that's built on a lie, how many other things? Of course, we go to 9/11 itself, the event, September 11th, 2001. And if you tell most people that it was an inside job, I think now more people will agree, yes, they think that our government has something to do with it. They're not really sure that Osama bin Laden was behind it completely. Some people say he wasn't behind it at all. The Middle East wasn't in it at all, but it was something that was orchestrated by our own government and secret agencies in order to take our rights away and our freedoms out of fear tactics. And then when you look at Dr. Judy Brown, Dr. Judy Brown, who has done research behind 9/11 showing that the Twin Towers actually dustified. The steel and the metal did not melt like they say, did not collapse like they say, but actually turned to dust, which lets us know that they were using some technology, some super technology that we have not heard of before, or that most people are not even familiar with, that they use that in order to turn the Twin Towers into dust as they fell. And so when you say things like that and say, well, and then they'll say, well, maybe terrorists were not flying the planes. Maybe they were remote controlled or something like that. That maybe remote controlled by someone in our government, CIA, FBI. And then if you say, well, what if I told you that there weren't even any planes there that day? That it was all CGI graphics, and that it was made to look like that. Because if you look at the video footage and you see the planes entering the building like a hot knife in butter, and they just, that is not what metal on metal does. The plane would have been completely crushed. It would not have just slid into the building and disappeared like it was diving into water. But when you say things like, there weren't even any planes there, which means that there weren't planes at the Pentagon or in the field in Philadelphia and all of that, you know, so depending on how deep down the rabbit hole you want to take people, you know, some are just not willing to go but so far. And that's fine. That's fine. Just as long as they are opening up and just knowing that, you know, yes, we have been lied to about a lot of things, starting from when we were just toddlers. From then, it just continued on. How are we to know that the history books are correct? We know that the Library of Congress, they're hiding books, historical books of the world history. How can we get our hands on that? You know, cave drawings and different things. So the people who are orchestrating everything, they have, you know, generation after generation passed it down through the bloodlines, the families, and shown that they can withhold this information. They are using it to basically to filter the truth. They don't give us the whole truth. They just give us the pieces that they want us to know. And then little by little, they'll give it to us in a controlled manner. It's twisted. So by the time it gets to us, we have maybe 20% truth and 80% lies. And then they just bring in all these other theories and all these conspiracies. You know, they actually create conspiracies to try to debunk the real, actual, not even conspiracies, they're called the realities that it takes a while to prove them because they are withholding so much and they have the control over just the information. So when they are controlling the information and how it's disseminated, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to prove it from that standpoint because we're not in that inner elite circle. But that actually concludes this video for today, just showing how lies can easily be told and believed, because who are we to argue against it? But I think that because there's so many more people now waking up to the fact that the earth is flat and how we have been lied to for all these years and how it's still being indoctrinated, and we're still seeing all these space images to try and reinforce that programming that we've had all of our lives. But slowly people are waking up. They're seeing it for what it is, the big lie. So I am just going to give a shout out to all the truthers out there. Keep doing what you're doing and keep the good fight, knowing that Jesus Christ, first of all, is the truth. So I would encourage everyone in the truth movement to also acknowledge our Savior and let him be the Lord of your life. Because as great as it is to know the truth about this earth that we're on, what's more important is knowing Jesus Christ as your Savior and as your Lord. to let him lord over your life. Well, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much. As always, I ask that you leave your comments. Please subscribe and share. Until the next time, God bless.